So to illustrate, here's what it looks like to create a bookmark using Diigo. So I found a page on 5 things you can do to begin developing your personal learning network, which I think has some good ideas, and some of you might actually want to follow these steps. So if I want to create a bookmark of this page, and I happen to be using Chrome, Google Chrome as my web browser, so to launch the Diigo bookmarking tool, I'll click the Diigo icon, and you see it's opened up this little panel of tools that I can choose from. So I'm going to start by clicking the bookmark tool, and you can see here it's already populated the title and URL. In most sites the title is going to be appropriate, but sometimes every once in a while you'll find a page that has a title that's not very meaningful. So if you want to improve upon that to make it more useful to you or to people you might be sharing with, you can of course edit that. And then you have the option of making your bookmark private. And this might be useful if you're bookmarking, say, a page that has personal information on it that you want to be able to find again, but you don't necessarily want to have appear in association with your Diigo account to other people. You also have the option of clicking Read Later, and that will save that page to a collection of articles in your own Diigo library of things that you want to read later. And if you download one of the Diigo apps for smartphones, you can actually access those on the go from that, which can be handy if, say, you stumble across something but don't have time to read it right away. And then if you select the cache version, rather than saving the bookmark that would take you back to a live version of that page, it will save a version of that page, whatever is on there at the time you bookmark it. So for example, this might be useful if you're wanting to bookmark a story on a news site, because you know, for example, that the New York Times webpage or the USA Today webpage is going to have different content on it every day. So if there's a particular story you want to capture, you could use that option. And then sometimes it will pre-fill information on description. Here it's collected random information from the page, which is inappropriate. So I'm going to write my own description, and I will say steps new PLN users can take to get started, or whatever I want to write in here. And then for tags, I'll enter some keywords that will help me find that page again later if I'm searching for it. So since this talks about PLNs, I might use the tag PLN, and it'll actually suggest tags that I've used in the past from my tag library. Often I like to include in my tags the name of the author or the site in case I remember that name and want to come back to it later, or search by name. So in this case, this is a blog by Leslie Nielsen, so I'll include her in my tags, and whatever else you might want to add. Notice for tags that involve multiple words, such as first names or last names, or if I wanted to use a phrase, in Diigo, to use a multiple word tag, you need to put that in quotation marks. Otherwise, it will interpret, for example, this tag, Lisa Nielsen, as being actually 2 separate tags, a tag that's called Lisa and a tag that's called Nielsen, which is why I put this in quotes. And you can enter as many tags as you like, just leave a space or add a comma in between each tag. And then I have the option here of either adding my bookmark to a list, and these are a bunch of lists that I've created. I happen to have a list that has resources on learning management systems, PLEs, and PLNs. So I'll add that to that list for my own personal use, and because I want to share this with you all as well, I will select the group that I've created in Diigo for this class. And since at the beginning you'll probably only be a member of one or maybe a handful of groups, you'll have a fairly short list, but you can join or create as many groups as you want and then pick this. And if I wanted to add this to multiple groups, I can always go back and edit this bookmark later on. So now I'm going to click Save, and that's how you create a basic bookmark. Now if I wanted to add highlighting, for example, if I wanted to point out a specific passage, or if I wanted to create a little excerpt of text that's going to be meaningful when I'm just skimming through my bookmarks, I might highlight this phrase. If you're new to this personal learning networks are created by an individual learner specific to the learner's needs, extending relevant learning connections to like-minded people around the globe. And when I highlight this, and again, you just highlight it like you would any other text by using your left mouse button and holding it down, then mousing over whatever text you want to capture, then clicking highlight. And you can see, just like if I was creating a highlight in a Word document or a book, it's created this highlight, and then that'll be saved with my saved bookmark. Now if I want to take it a step further, I could also add a comment to what I've highlighted, which you can see once I put my cursor over this highlighted text, this little pencil icon will appear. And when I mouse over that pencil icon, you'll see this little dialog box pop up where I have the option of adding a sticky note. So here I could add any kind of descriptive text that I want. I can make a comment about the page. If I'm using this with students, I might use this to insert a discussion question or something that I want to guide people's attention to. Or if I'm bookmarking and highlighting a page for personal use, let's say I'm working on a research paper or some kind of project, I might add a note to myself to remember why I highlighted this, and maybe make a few notes about what part of my paper this would be relevant to, or make a note to myself to compare this document or this article to another article that I've bookmarked. So I can enter whatever text I want here. And then I also have options of sharing that sticky note. So again, sticky notes can be private, so only I would see this sticky note when I come back to this page or reopen this bookmark. Or I can make this sticky note visible to people in the other groups that I'm members of. So if I want this to be visible to you, which I do, I'm going to select the EDUC 517 Spring 12 group and click Post. And then now you'll see this little bubble symbol appears next to my highlighting, and if I mouse over that, then that sticky note will appear. And then the rest of you, since you're also members of this group, if you were to visit this page, would be able to add your own comments, respond to my comment, might respond to a question if I ask you a question. And once again, I can set preferences for who I think should have access to this. And now you'll see the number of comments has been updated on this page. So this can be a really nice tool for having a running conversation about a reading that you assign online with your students.